The breaking point. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Luna Base, her weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass as she watched Earth rotate slowly below. 20 years of service in the United Earth Defense Force hadn't prepared her for this moment. The message from the Varian Collective had been clear: submit to their authority or face extinction. "Admiral, they're broadcasting again," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced from his station. The young officer's usually steady hands trembled slightly as he transferred the alien transmission to the main screen. High Executor Zalx's serpentine face filled the display, its iridescent scales shifting colors as it spoke. "Your species' continued resistance to join the collective is problematic. We have been patient, humans. That patience ends today." Sarah's jaw clenched. The Varian Collective had appeared in Earth's solar system 3 months ago, their massive ships dwarfing anything humanity had publicly revealed. They claimed to represent a coalition of species dedicated to maintaining order in the galaxy. In reality, they were glorified extortionists, demanding resources and obedience in exchange for protection. "What's the status of Echo Station?" Sarah asked, turning to her tactical officer. 2,000 civilians aboard, Admiral. Regular research and commerce operations continuing as planned. Commander Jackson pulled up the station's feed on a secondary screen. The civilian space station hung in high Earth orbit, its solar panels gleaming in the sunlight. Sarah had argued against keeping the station operational during the crisis, but the Security Council insisted on maintaining the appearance of normalcy. Now she feared that decision would cost lives. "Multiple Varian warships detected," Rodriguez shouted. "They're on an attack vector toward Echo Station." Sarah's blood ran cold. "Open a channel. Now." But before she could speak, brilliant beams of energy lanced out from the Varian vessels. Echo Station's shields, designed for protection against space debris, failed instantly. The station broke apart in a horrific silent explosion, its fragments spreading across the void like deadly cosmic dust. 2,000 lives, gone in an instant. "Message from the collective, Admiral," Rodriguez whispered, his face ashen. Zalx's image appeared again, satisfaction evident in its alien features. "Consider this a demonstration of the consequences of defiance. You have 24 hours to surrender Earth to collective authority." The transmission cut off, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Sarah's hands gripped the railing so hard her knuckles turned white. The Varians had just made a catastrophic mistake, one that would cost them dearly. "Send emergency code Omega to all UEDF commands," she ordered, her voice steady despite the rage burning in her chest. "And get me a secure line to the Security Council. It's time to show the collective why you don't corner a species that survived everything Earth could throw at it." In secure facilities across the planet and throughout the solar system, warning klaxons began to sound. In underground bunkers, frozen crews began the revival process. In hidden asteroid bases, automated systems started warming up engines that hadn't fired in years. Humanity had hoped to avoid this. They had played weak, appeared disorganized, and let the Varians believe they were dealing with a primitive species barely capable of interplanetary travel. But Earth had learned from its history. They had prepared. They had built. They had waited. The Varians thought they had just demonstrated their power. Instead, they had triggered humanity's trap card. Deep beneath the Marianas Trench, in a facility unknown to all but a handful of humans, General Michael Okoro received the Omega signal. He looked at the massive holographic display, showing the status of Project Thundershield, humanity's true fleet. 150 warships, each more advanced than anything the Varians had shown. 20 years of secret development, incorporating recovered alien technology and human innovation. "Begin revival sequence for all crews," he commanded. "Initiate launch preparations. The Varians want to see humanity's response. Let's give them a proper introduction to Earth." As emergency meetings were called and military assets mobilized worldwide, Sarah Chen stared out at the debris field that had once been Echo Station. The Varians believed they had just broken humanity's spirit. Instead, they had unleashed something far more dangerous, a united Earth with nothing left to lose. In 24 hours, the collective would learn why humans told stories about poking sleeping bears, why Earth's history was filled with tales of underdogs triumphing against overwhelming odds, and why their species had survived every catastrophe their violent planet had thrown at them. Humanity was done playing weak. The real war was about to begin. Silent thunder. The ocean stirred. Deep beneath the Pacific, massive doors ground open for the first time in decades. General Okoro watched as the first wave of humanity's secret fleet rose from their watery berths, advanced stealth systems, making them nearly invisible to both conventional sensors and the naked eye. "Status report on Revival Group Alpha," he commanded, his voice echoing through the command center carved into the ocean floor. Colonel Diana Wright, her dark skin still showing traces of cryofrost, consulted her neural interface. 87% of crews successfully revived, sir. The Aegis, Hyperion, and Thanatos are ready for immediate deployment. Remaining vessels at 90% combat readiness. The ships weren't just warships. They were the pinnacle of human ingenuity. Each vessel incorporated technology reverse-engineered from a dozen crashed alien craft, combined with innovations born from humanity's endless drive to survive. Quantum shields, dark matter engines, and weapons that could tear holes in space itself. "The Varians expect us to beg," Okoro said, studying the tactical display. "They'll be monitoring all known military installations, waiting for signs of panic." A smile crossed his weathered face. "Let's see how they handle a ghost fleet." Above the Earth, High Executor Orcs grew increasingly uneasy. 17 hours had passed since the destruction of Echo Station, and the humans' response made no sense. There were no pleas for mercy, no desperate military maneuvers, only silence. "Report," Zolks demanded, its scales shifting to a nervous purple. "No significant movement detected from their known bases," Sub-Commander Kex replied. "Minimal communications traffic. It's as if they're accepting their fate." Zalks's inner eyelids flickered. The collective had subjugated dozens of species, and none had reacted like this. There should be chaos, fear, futile attempts at resistance. This silence was wrong. Deep in the asteroid belt, Admiral Chen watched the Varian fleet through quantum-linked sensors. "All ships, maintain emissions control," she ordered through the secure quantum network. "Task Force Nemesis, prepare for Phase 1. The response came not through conventional channels, but through quantum-entangled particles that were impossible to intercept. 20 ships, hidden among the asteroids, powered up weapons that had never been used in actual combat. On Earth, in the UEDF's Public Command Center, junior officers played their roles perfectly, appearing frightened, sending easily interceptable communications about surrender terms, and making it seem like humanity was falling apart. The Varians were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology. It was their ability to deceive. Multiple anomalies detected. Kex suddenly shouted, their sensor arrays lighting up with warnings. "Something's interfering with our gravitic sensors." Zalks leaned forward, all four arms gripping their command chair. "Specify." "I can't," Kex admitted. "It's as if space itself is being distorted." "Wait." Energy spike detected. Massive energy spike. The first shot of humanity's counterattack didn't come from a gun. It came from a device called the Quantum Disruptor, a weapon that temporarily altered the laws of physics in a localized area. 3 Variant support ships suddenly found themselves in a space where their artificial gravity went haywire. Their crews experienced time at different rates, and their shield generators simply ceased to function. "What is this?" Zalks demanded as reports of chaos flooded in. "How are they doing this?" The answer came in the form of humanity's ghost fleet, emerging from stealth like avenging angels. Ships that shouldn't exist, using technology the Varians thought impossible for humans to possess, appeared seemingly out of nowhere. "All ships, weapons free," Admiral Chen commanded. Show them what happens when you cornered humanity. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Quantum-tipped missiles phased through Varian shields as if they didn't exist. Human ships executed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics, their dark matter engines leaving trails of distorted spacetime. But it wasn't just superior technology that gave humanity the edge. It was the culmination of thousands of years of warfare, of learning to fight smarter rather than harder. Each human ship operated independently yet in perfect coordination, using tactics that had been refined through countless simulations. How? Zolks demanded as another Varian cruiser succumbed to weapons they couldn't even understand. You're supposed to be primitives. Admiral Chen's response was broadcast on all frequencies. You made 3 mistakes. First, you assumed our public technology represented our true capabilities. Second, you thought our disorganization was weakness rather than deception. But your fatal error. You killed 2,000 of our people and expected us to bend the knee. As the battle raged, General Okoro prepared the second wave of humanity's response. Project Thundershield wasn't just a fleet. It was a complete defense system that had been hidden throughout the solar system. And now, piece by piece, it was coming online. The Varians were about to learn why humans told stories about sleeping giants and why waking them was always a mistake. Counterstrike. The void between Mars and Earth lit up with weapons fire as humanity's counteroffensive entered its third hour. But while the Varian collective focused on the visible battle, they missed the true threat assembling in plain sight. Swarm units in position. Captain Maya Patul reported from her stealth corvette, the Spectre. Her ship, barely larger than a shuttle, had guided 5,000 autonomous combat drones into position, disguising them as debris from the destroyed Echo Station. Ready on your mark, Admiral. Sarah Chen studied the tactical display, where the Varian fleet had adopted a defensive formation around their flagship. Their shield geometries had adapted to human weapons, and they were learning, but not fast enough. Execute Operation Hydra, she commanded. All units, begin Phase 2. The debris field around Echo Station suddenly came alive. Thousands of drones, each powered by miniaturized fusion cores, activated simultaneously. But these weren't simple combat units. They were the product of human ingenuity and desperation. By the collective, Zolks hissed as their sensors overloaded. How many ships do they have? The answer became apparent as the drones swarmed toward the Varian fleet. Each drone carried a quantum entanglement device, technology the Varians had dismissed as theoretical. As they approached their targets, they linked together, creating localized fields of altered physics. Shields failing. Keck shouted as their defensive screens encountered spaces where the laws of physics simply refused to cooperate. They're hacking reality itself. General Okoro watched from his command center as Phase 2 unfolded. Begin nanite deployment, he ordered. Let's show them another human specialty. Adaptation. From the swarm of drones emerged clouds of microscopic machines, another technology humans had officially struggled to master. The nanites attached themselves to Varian hulls, not to destroy, but to learn. Within minutes, they were transmitting detailed analyses of Varian technology back to Earth's quantum computers. Sir, Colonel Wright called out, AI synthesis completing first analysis. We can replicate their shield frequency modulation, transmitting countermeasures to the fleet now. This was humanity's true advantage, not just their hidden technology, but their ability to analyze, adapt, and overcome. Each moment of combat made them stronger, more knowledgeable, more dangerous. High Executor Zolks watched in horror as human weapons began bypassing their shields with increasing efficiency. Impossible. Your species. You were primitive. We monitored you for decades. You monitored what we wanted you to see, Admiral Chen replied calmly. Humanity learned long ago that appearing weak while building strength was the surest path to survival. Every public failure in our space program masked a dozen hidden successes. The battle shifted as human ships began implementing their newly acquired knowledge. Quantum-tipped missiles phased through Varian shields at exactly the right frequencies. Drone swarms adapted their attack patterns to exploit newly discovered weaknesses. But the Varians were far from defeated. Their remaining ships consolidated into a tight formation, their combined shield harmonics creating a nearly impenetrable defense. "You may have surprised us," Zolk's broadcast, "but the collective's power is not so easily overcome. Our reinforcements approach as we speak." Admiral Chen smiled. This was exactly what they had hoped for. "General Okoro, they're in position. You may proceed with Phase 3. Deep beneath the Pacific, Okoro activated humanity's masterstroke, initiating Jupiter Protocol. For decades, humanity had maintained a public presence on Jupiter's moons, small research stations and mining operations. What they had hidden was the massive construction project within Jupiter itself. Using technology recovered from ancient alien ruins on Ganymede, humans had turned the gas giant into something unprecedented. A quantum signal pulsed from Earth to Jupiter. Deep within the gas giant, enormous machines stirred to life. The space around Jupiter began to distort as the largest human engineering project in history activated. Energy spike detected near Jupiter. Kex announced, their voice trembling. It's impossible. The readings." Zolk stared in disbelief as Jupiter's gravity well began to change. The humans hadn't just built ships and weapons. They had engineered a gravity weapon using an entire planet as its core. "You should have done more research on human history," Admiral Chen transmitted. "We're the species that looked at the most powerful forces in nature and thought, how can we use this as a weapon? We split the atom, harnessed fusion, and now, well, you're about to see what we did with a gas giant and a few decades of preparation." As Jupiter's gravity began to pulse in precisely controlled waves, the true scale of humanity's preparation became clear. They hadn't just built a fleet or developed advanced technology. They had turned their entire solar system into a weapon. And the Varian reinforcements were about to warp right into humanity's trap. The real demonstration of Earth's power was about to begin. The revelation. The space around Jupiter rippled like disturbed water as the Varian reinforcement fleet emerged from hyperspace. 12 capital ships, each larger than the ones humanity had already engaged, arrived expecting to find a nearly subjugated Earth. Instead, they warped directly into humanity's killing field. "Gravity weapon at full charge," General Okoro announced, his voice steady as he watched Jupiter's storms intensify. Targeting solutions locked. The massive gas giant pulsed with energy that defied conventional physics. Decades of research into the gravitational anomalies found in those ancient Ganymede ruins had led to this moment. Jupiter wasn't just generating controlled gravity waves, it was focusing them. Unknown enemy weapon detected. The Varian fleet commander's transmission crackled with interference. Evasive main. The command was cut short as Jupiter released its first gravitational pulse. Space itself contracted and expanded in precisely controlled waves. 3 Varian capital ships found themselves crushed into spaces smaller than should have been possible, their advanced shields useless against fundamental forces of nature. "Impossible." Zolk's broadcast, all pretense of superiority gone. "No species has ever successfully weaponized gravitational forces at this scale." Admiral Chen's response was cold. "Humanity has spent its entire history doing the impossible. Did you really think we would stop just because we reached space?" But Jupiter was only part of the trap. As the Varian reinforcements struggled against the gravitational onslaught, humanity revealed another card. "Saturn Division, you're clear to engage," Chen commanded. From behind Saturn's rings, where they had hidden for years, emerged humanity's heavy carriers. Each vessel housed thousands of autonomous fighters controlled by quantum AI, an innovation born from the marriage of human creativity and alien technology. "How many ships do you have?" Zolks demanded as new hostile contacts flooded their sensors. "Wrong question," Chen replied. "You should be asking how long we've been preparing for something like this." The answer became apparent as human forces executed maneuvers that should have been impossible. Every Varian tactic was countered before it could be fully implemented. Every weakness was exploited with surgical precision. "Sir," Colonel Wright reported to Okoro, "the quantum AI is reporting a 99.7% prediction rate for enemy tactics. They're fighting exactly as our simulations suggested they would." This was humanity's true masterpiece, not just the technology, but the planning. For years, they had been running quantum simulations of every possible first contact scenario, especially hostile ones. The AI had processed millions of combat situations, learning and adapting. By the time the Varians actually arrived, humanity had already fought this war countless times in virtual space. "You don't understand," Zolks transmitted, desperation creeping into their voice. "We are the collective. We represent hundreds of species. Our technology is the culmination of millennia of development." "No," Admiral Chen countered. "You don't understand. Humanity doesn't just adapt. We prepare. Every time we unveiled a new technology publicly, we held back 3 more. Every apparent limitation was a carefully constructed deception. We learned from our own history that the best way to survive is to never show your full capabilities until you have to." The battle continued to unfold according to humanity's simulations. The quantum AI controlling their automated forces adjusted tactics in real time, learning from each engagement. The Varian fleet found itself fighting an enemy that seemed to predict their every move. But the true revelation was yet to come. As the Varians struggled against gravity weapons and swarms of AI-controlled fighters, sensors detected new energy signatures throughout the solar system. What are those?" Kex asked, their sensor displays showing hundreds of new contacts appearing seemingly from nowhere. From the surfaces of Mars, Venus, and Mercury, hidden installations began to activate. From the Kuiper Belt and the Oort cloud, stealth platforms emerged from hibernation. The entire solar system had been converted into an interlocking defense grid, hidden in plain sight, while humanity played the role of a species barely able to reach their own moon. "Final phase authorized," General Okoro commanded. "Activate the Sol network." The hidden installations synchronized, creating a web of quantum-entangled energy that encompassed the entire solar system. This was humanity's ultimate defense, the ability to control the very fabric of space-time within their home system. Zolks watched in horror as their fleet's hyperspace drives failed. The Varians weren't just trapped, they were about to witness the full extent of humanity's preparation and learn why challenging Earth had been their greatest mistake. The real demonstration of power was about to begin. Victory's price. Space itself trembled as the Sol network fully activated. Lines of quantum energy connected every planet, moon, and hidden installation in the solar system, creating a web of controlled space-time that humanity had spent decades perfecting. The Varian fleet found itself trapped in a cage built from the fundamental forces of the universe. "Final warning, High Executor," Admiral Chen broadcast. "Surrender your forces or witness the full extent of humanity's resolve." Zolks, their scales now a pale gray of fear, looked at the tactical display in disbelief. The proud Varian fleet, representatives of the most powerful coalition in known space, was surrounded not just by ships, but by an entire solar system turned into a weapon. "You don't understand what you've done," Zolks transmitted, their voice trembling. "The collective will not stand for this. They will send more ships, more forces." "No," General Okoro interrupted, his voice carrying the weight of absolute certainty. "They won't, because you're going to tell them exactly what happened here. How a species you thought primitive turned out to be anything but. How we didn't just beat you. We predicted you." The Sol network pulsed, and holographic displays appeared around every Varian ship. They showed something that made Zolks' inner heart stop. Detailed scans of collective technology, complete breakdowns of their tactical protocols, and most terrifyingly, improvements on their own designs. "While you thought you were studying us," Colonel Wright explained, Our quantum AI was analyzing every piece of technology you revealed. Every scan you took of Earth gave us more data about your sensors. Every transmission you sent taught us more about your communication systems. The nanites deployed earlier had done their work well. Humanity now possessed a complete understanding of collective technology and had already begun improving upon it. Impossible, Kex whispered. Your species, you're barely over 1,000 years into your technological age. That's humanity's greatest strength, Admiral Chen replied. We don't wait for gradual evolution. We take leaps. We see limitations as challenges, not boundaries. And most importantly, we never, ever show our full hand until we have to. The quantum AI controlling humanity's defense grid had calculated over 1 million possible outcomes for this confrontation. In every simulation where humanity revealed their true capabilities, the result was the same: peace through strength. Your choices are simple, General Okoro stated. Surrender and become witnesses to what happens when you underestimate humanity, or force us to demonstrate why that's a fatal mistake. In his command center deep beneath the Pacific, Okoro watched as the tactical display showed variant ships powering down their weapons. The AI had predicted this outcome with 99.9% certainty. Faced with overwhelming force and superior technology, the collective would choose survival over pride. A wise choice, Admiral Chen said as surrender signals came in from the variant fleet. Now let's discuss the terms of your departure and your report to the collective. The terms were simple but non-negotiable. The Varians would return to the collective with proof of humanity's capabilities and a message. Earth was not to be trifled with. Any future contact would be diplomatic, not military, or the consequences would be severe. As the defeated Varian ships prepared to leave under escort, Zalks requested one final communication with Admiral Chen. There's one thing I don't understand, the High Executor said. Why maintain the deception for so long? Why not show your strength from the beginning? Chen's response was both a lesson and a warning. Because humanity learned long ago that true power isn't in showing strength, it's in knowing when to reveal it. We could have announced ourselves to the galaxy as a major power, but that would have made us a target. Instead, we chose to be underestimated. It served us well for thousands of years on Earth, and now it served us well among the stars. As the Varian fleet departed, humanity began the process of powering down their defense grid. The Sol network would return to its dormant state, hidden installations would fade back into the background, and Earth would once again appear to be just another developing world. But the galaxy would know the truth. Humanity wasn't just another species reaching for the stars. They were the ones who had turned their entire solar system into a fortress, who had advanced their technology in secret, and who had beaten one of the most powerful forces in known space, not just through strength, but through preparation, deception, and innovation. The message was clear. Earth was not to be underestimated again. And if anyone forgot that lesson, humanity's hidden fleet and their weaponized solar system would be ready to remind them. In the end, the greatest victory wasn't in the battle won, but in the wars prevented. The galaxy had learned what humanity had known all along. Sometimes the best defense isn't just strength, but the wisdom to know when to reveal it.